Hi there, Pretty Plant Girl here. I'm going to be planting some zinnias today. I had someone request to see how I plant my zinnias. So I thought I'd plant a few up indoors and then the majority of them will actually get planted out after my average last frost date, or right around that date. Planting them is basically the same thing whether you're planting them inside or outside. It's just the timing of it. If I start them early, like I am going to start these ones today, then I'll have blooms just a little bit earlier. The ones that I plant outside will take, an extra month or so to get blooms for me. So I have several kinds of zinnias that I purchased seed for this year, and one free pack that I think I got last year. So if you want to know more about these varieties that I'm planting, I do have a video, What Am I Sowing Zinnias? And I'll link it down below so you can check that out. There's usually links in the description, so if there's anything that you're curious about that I'm using, go down there, check it out, or if I reference a video, usually you can find it down there. But let's get started on these zinnias that I'm sowing today. Real quick, I just want to make up some tags so that I don't get them mixed up. So I have Zinnia, Zahara, raspberry lemonade, Okay, so now that I have my tags made up, let's get to planting. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is just get these containers filled with soil, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll bring you back for the seeds. Okay, so there's my trays that I have here, and I'm just doing 3 of each variety for right now. I have 5 varieties here. The very first one is this Mardi Gras mix. Stick my tag in that row. Now, these are fairly good sized seeds. They're flat seed, and now some people say, oh, they should go this way or that way or whatever, but I just take them. I'm going to put 2 in each spot, just especially with these, they're a little bit older, so to ensure germination. I'm going to set them down. On the soil there. And I'll just cover them with about a 1/4 inch of this growing medium. Now, this is just a peat moss and perlite mix that I have here. And this probably isn't necessary with such large seeds that are planted a bit deeper, but when I'm planting inside, I do like to put just a fine layer of vermiculite on top of the soil. I find it helps to regulate the moisture levels indoors, where I have a lot of things going, lots of grow lights and things going, so it can get quite warm in here. So that's all there is to it. So next, let's do the Queenie Lime Red. I'm I'm really excited about these next 4 varieties here. These are all new that I haven't grown before. There's the seeds for those. And again, I'll just do 2 in the center of the pot. You don't have to use a pot this size. That's just what I have a good amount of right now. So that's what I'm using. Here's Zinderella Peach. So like I said, you don't have to start your zinnia seeds indoors, and quite often I don't, just because I do start so many things. But because someone had asked about seeing how to do this, I thought I would just let you see in case you want to start yours indoors earlier. But I would do the exact same thing if you're starting them outside, right around that last frost date. Some packages will say as soon as the soil can be worked. Some will say after all chance of frost. I usually just go the week of my last frost date, and that's when I'll stick them in the ground. So this is Benary's Giant. Zinnia seeds are easy to save too. Once the seed head matures, you can just pop the flower head off and just kind of rub it around, and you'll get the seeds falling out of it. So I've done that a lot in the past too. Apparently not last year because I don't have any, but probably because I knew I'd ordered these. I already had them ordered in the summer. So this one is Zahara Raspberry Lemonade Mix. These are just a tiny bit smaller than the other varieties, but they'll still be planted the same way. Top all of those off with a little bit more soil, just like before. So once you're getting close to your average last frost date, you want to start hardening these off if you've been growing them indoors, gradually having them spend more time outdoors exposed to wind and sun. So you start with like about an hour a day, and then just in, you know, kind of a shady sheltered area, and then you just slowly start moving them out where it's sunnier. You can put them out for about an hour and then bring them in, and then the next day maybe for a few hours, and the next day a few more hours. You know, I kind of double the time every day, and then eventually they're just staying outside till they're used to all the wind and the harsh sunlight. And then you can just transplant them out into the ground. I'll try and remember to show that to you when it's time. So again, the vermiculite isn't something you have to do, it's just something that I've found works well for me when doing my indoor plantings, just to help kind of regulate the moisture a little bit. Move my seeds away so I don't get them wet, and I'm just going to give them all a really nice spray here, just to make sure that there's, you know, the top layer is nice and wet. This was damp growing medium that I put them in, so it was nice and damp already. You could squeeze it together in a ball and not have a lot of moisture come out. And then this little bit of extra spray will just help to ensure the vermiculite is damp and the seeds have good contact with the soil. So zinnias like to be around 21 to 24 degrees Celsius when they're germinating.
That's where they'll germinate the best for you. As you can see how much they're covered by soil, they don't need light to germinate, so you don't need to have them anywhere with lights or sun or anything on them when you're first germinating them. But once they get that first set of true leaves, then you want to make sure that they have some good strong sunlight, or grow lights or something on them to help them grow nice and strong for you. And I'm going to put a humidity dome over these just to make sure that they're staying nice and moist on top. But again, because they're planted deeply, as long as you're making sure that they're staying moist on top, it probably won't be something you absolutely have to do. So on goes the humidity dome.
So as you can see, planting zinnias is really quite easy to do. They're nice big seeds, so they're easy to handle. You could even have kids help you out with them if you want. They should likely be germinating within a week. I think it's like 5 to 10 days germination for them. And like I said, they don't need to be put under lights to germinate. They don't need a heat mat to germinate. Most indoor spaces, if you're growing them in your house, will be sufficiently warm. So they just need to be planted half a centimeter to a centimeter, or around a 1/4 inch deep, and they should be good to go for you there. Just make sure that the soil stays just nicely damp. You don't want it soaking wet. You don't want to rot the seeds, but slightly damp so that those the seeds can swell and pop open for you, and you're good to go. So again, once they get those first true leaves, you'll want to put them in a nice bright spot, either in front of a nice bright sunny window or under grow lights if you have them. Just enjoy your zinnias. They're pretty fast growers, so you could start them anywhere from about 4 to 6 weeks indoors, or like I said, right around that last frost date is when I like to get them going in the ground. Usually the soil is warm enough by then and workable by then, and I'm not going to be worried about the young seedlings getting nipped by frost when they come up. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.